Good afternoon. It is 2 o'clock, and I would like to call to order the January 16th meeting of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Minutes from your packet. Are there any questions or comments regarding the minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion for approval? We have a motion and a second. Please vote. And it passes unanimously. Next up is a consent docket. There's 15 items on the consent docket. Well, there's about 5 change orders, contract awards, some projects going out for bid, some professional services agreements, pricing agreements, a little bit of everything on there this afternoon. Are there any items on the consent docket the trustees would like to pull for individual consideration? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent docket? The motion, a second, please vote. And it is approved unanimously. Next up, and there's a concurrence docket. The concurrence docket, there's one item. It's a street project, widening project down at Southwest 149th and Western to Santa Fe. There are no Aquit funds involved in this project. Is there a motion for approval? Mr. Stone, you probably want to make that motion. That's on the edge of Ward 4. Motion second, please vote. And it's approved. We have one emergency this afternoon. It's a sanitary sewer line replacement in the vicinity of 4th Street between Kate and Fonz Hill. Any questions regarding the contract? Is there a motion for approval? For a motion, a second, please vote. And it's approved. Items for individual consideration. Here we have an amendment, number 1, with Wind Construction Company, the sludge lagoon improvements at the Hefner Water Treatment Plant. We're going to have a discussion or presentation on this?
Not on this particular one. Mr. Hare can answer questions about it, however, if you'd like to.
I do have a couple. Larry, this is the one that, this has been years old, right?
Ongoing issue for quite a while, yes.
But this is a 4 or 5 year ago contract for the cleaning of the lagoons and.
Correct.
Okay. And tell me about the decrease of 1.1.
I'm sorry?
The decrease amount of 1.1 million?
Yeah, the prices did. And what we're doing is that we're just amending the quantity to match what we have budgeted in our CIP.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Is there a motion for the item? Motion is second, please vote. And it's approved. Items from trustees. Anything this afternoon?
I was noticing we gave the Tinker Air Force Base an Air Force license that's good until September 30, 2071. I don't know if I'll be around for the expiration of the license.
That's a good thing. You've got to vote on it this time. Okay, general manager reports.
Mr. Chairman and trustees, we have 2 presentations. The first is by Joy Cote at South Canadian Wastewater Treatment Plant.
Okay, just kidding. Skipped ahead. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and trustees. Like Mr. Weingart said, my name is Joy Cote, and I manage the wastewater treatment plant projects for the city's utilities department. So today's presentation is a quarterly update on what I consider to be our flagship project, but I am biased. It is the South Canadian Wastewater Treatment Plant Improvements Project. A quick reminder of the drivers behind this project. The plant itself was constructed at first in 1986, and our last major improvement took place in 2013. So many components of the equipment and the treatment process at the plant were nearing the end of their useful service lives and were in need of replacement. Amidst addressing these issues, we also wanted to increase the treatment capacity for the growth in that area, Southwest Oklahoma City / Moore, 159th and May area, as well as complying with some of our newer and more stringent requirements from the Department of Environmental Quality. At the same time, looking at what technologies were available, we wanted to enhance the treatment capabilities at the plant through this project as well. Oh, snap. This graphic here is our existing plant. The two white structures here are our sequencing batch reactors. We have a clarifier and our 3 digesters, a relatively small facility. This graphic is taken from our plans, which was essentially building a brand new plant around our existing facility. And our smaller graphic to the left underneath our plan sheet shows the current state of the site, which has been ripped to shreds as we are getting a lot of these structures out of the ground. It looks ugly right now, but the progress is there, and we're very excited about it. Some of the stats from our bid award for this project: our engineer is CPMY. They're now doing business as STV Infrastructure. They were bought out by Smith Thomas Vaughn. Our contractor is Crossland Heavy, and our construction cost after some value engineering efforts is just over $191 million. Our duration is 1,645 calendar days. Our project award took place in July of 2022, and our notice to proceed a month later. We have 2 major milestones for this job. The first one, phase 1, is where we bring in our new treatment process and all of the equipment, get it commissioned, starting up and operating. And our second, phase 2 deadline is final completion for the project, which is demolishing some of the existing structures and cleaning everything up, making it look pretty. So by the numbers, as of January 1st, we have approved roughly $57 million worth of payments on this job to Crossland and their subs, which is about 31% on the finances. And we are 498 days as of January 1st, or 513 days as of today into the project, which is just over 30% on time. So with that, I'd like to show you a few photos on some of our major project areas where we've made progress in the last quarter. First and foremost, our new administration building has a roof on it. Very excited about that. And they're now working, especially with the weather going on some of the internal components such as the tornado shelter and lab facilities that will be inside this building. Next is our headworks, our main structure where our raw influent wastewater comes in. And we have worked on the underground channels. All of the concrete work underground is complete. So we are now working on the foundation elements for the building above ground. This is kind of our hallmark of our project, definitely the biggest structure. This picture doesn't really do it justice, but we have 2 new extended aeration basins that are currently being fabricated and built on site. We've done a number of slab pours, and we are now actually pouring the walls for this. I have a picture towards the end that shows a little bit more perspective. If we go to the southwest part of the site, we can now see some of our foundation elements for our clarifiers that are coming in, our very large settling tanks that are a part of our new treatment process. And our primary electrical building, which essentially helps us control all the juice to all the buildings at the plant. We've completed all of the slabs and duct banks and underground work. We are now working on walls and roof forms. Our disinfection building is moving along quite nicely. We finished our underground piping and under slab work. We are now working on columns and wall pours. This will help us with our new disinfection system, sodium hypochlorite, which is a fancy way of saying bleach, that will help us disinfect our influent before we discharge into the river. And last but not least, towards the northeast part of the site, this is part of our solids handling process, the digester thickening building, which will help us mix chemicals with our sludge so we can dewater them and land apply them in the future. And this was our last photo, gives a little bit more perspective on the aeration basins. They are quite large. I very much encourage you to come out to the site. If you would like, please wear your PPE. We would love to have you. And with that concludes my presentation. I'll take any questions you have.
Thank you. Any questions for Joy? All right, appreciate the
Thank you
updates.
very much.
Our second presentation is Mr. Larry Hare on the Atoka Pipeline Project.
Do you agree that the South Canadian Pipeline is the premier construction project of the utilities?
I agree that the Atoka Pipeline is the most important project undertaken by the city thus far. Good afternoon, everybody. This will be a status update of the second Atoka Pipeline construction. What we see here is some brand new pipe being staged for construction. They're in the old Cedar Farm. They're just northwest of the Ada pump station. As you can see, we had broken up the whole project into 9 different segments to be done by different design engineers and by different contractors. Out of the roughly 98 miles of pipeline, we have almost half of it under construction right now. The first part, from Pump Station O to the Colgate Pump Station, it's about 14 miles long. The contractor's Oscar Renda. We're about 42% of the pipe installed, and we're looking at an estimated completion of about December of next year. Next is the Stonewall to Ada segment shown in red. Construction has not started on this one. McKee is wrapping up construction on another project and will begin this one hopefully by the end of February, beginning of March. Currently, we have about 38,000 feet of pipe laid out, ready to be put into the ground. The McKee construction project from Ada to the river crossing is almost complete. Here we have 77.9% installed, but they're running like gangbusters, and pretty soon they will be in a position to hook into the connection at the river up here being done by Vadnais. And speaking of which, they are almost complete. They have bored both tunnels underneath the river, having installed all of the pipe, so they're putting in the valve vaults with which to provide the connection points for McKee to connect to in their project. The Kanawha to just west of Highway 3 is also a McKee project. We expect that one to be completed in July of next year, and we're looking at pipe delivery to begin in March of this year. Projects coming up will be the Pump Station O for this calendar year, right here on the south side of Atoka, as well as the segment from Colgate to Stonewall and from the river crossing to the Kanawha Pump Station. Here is a picture of the Canadian River. There is the river crossing right there that we're going to abandon once McKee finishes up the connection that Vadnais is finishing up at the moment. And I will take any questions you may have.
Do you have any questions for Larry on the pipeline?
Yeah, just one question. Is the pipeline ties into Draper, or is it just going to the water processing plant,
It will go to
or both?
both of them,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Generally, the water goes into Draper, but you'll have an option here to be able to take the water and put it directly into the plant.
Correct.
Other questions? Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Mr.
So-
Weingart?
So we, as we all know, have had some cold weather, and we have a few larger main breaks that we've had to work over the weekend. We expect to see some more as the weather warms up a little bit, but we'll be on them and getting them repaired as quickly as possible. We also went to a new billing system over the weekend, so everybody's been very busy. And we just opened up the portal, and our customer statistics on serving our customers is better than expected.
Okay, well, that could be anything,
It's very
depending
good.
upon your original
It's actually
expectations.
very good.
Okay,
That's all we have.
all right, thank you. I'm not aware of any citizens to be heard. Therefore, we are adjourned.